afraid to beat. When you're with the Flintstones, have a yabba dabba do time, a dabba do time. We'll have a gay old time.
This is a WWOR special report.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at footage taken near the Queensboro Bridge just moments ago, where a tramload of passengers narrowly escaped disaster at the hands of King Kong. As the tram traveled high over the East River, the mighty Kong attacked, causing it to fall and nearly plummet into the water below. At the last moment, the tram operator regained control, leading the stunned passengers to safety. This
What's going on, party people? Welcome back to another episode of
OTown Dreamers.
We are here back upstairs again at Pilar's. Big thank you to Becky Rover for having us here. Pilar's Martini Bar in Winter Garden, Florida.
Yay.
Right next to the Garden Theater. And we can hear them next door. They're rehearsing Ragtime right now. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, what was that random voice? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce our first guest. Christina, would you want to introduce our first guest real quick?
Absolutely. Our first guest is John Connon, Improv Master, performer extraordinaire, super humble.
And very humble.
I'm okay. All right.
But really, before we get into everything, as we always like to start like this, Christina, why don't you tell the people at home why we do this?
Yeah, so basically, OTown Dreamers is a podcast and a resource for any aspiring performer who's been told, performing's not realistic. It's not a realistic dream. It absolutely is, and we're here to show you and guide you and learn with you the reasons why you can do this, and no matter where you are, there's a place here for you in Orlando to accomplish that dream.
And what we also like to preach, even if it's just a base, use Orlando as a fun entertainment base to then go off and pursue your dreams. Also, work on those other projects and always come back to good old OTown. Yay.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Awesome. So because we're getting at a whole bunch of content the first couple weeks. We've obviously said a bunch of news, but why the heck not? We'll do a quick segment of OTown news. Christina, just tell that I don't really have any news, but tell that tip that you were going to talk about.
Yeah, of course. So I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, what really helped me when I first moved here to Orlando, coming from literally bum
I'll
Eugene.
bleep that out.
Not knowing really where to get started.
Get ready for the blipper button for me then.
No, absolutely. Feel free to express yourself. This is an open podcast.
Right. So I was sitting in my CP housing apartment on my first CP, and I was thinking, how can I get into the audition scene here? Where do I even get started? And I looked on Facebook, and I found groups, and I just looked up Florida auditions. That was literally what I typed in, and I found so many different groups where people could post auditions that were happening around town, like local theater, workshops, and theme park auditions, and film castings. And that proved so helpful to me because that's where I found my first voice teacher, and through her, I went to audition for Entertainment Central and got a job at Sing It. So Facebook groups really helped me to get involved into the community here. So I just want to give you guys some resources on Facebook so you can go ahead and search these. Full Sail Casting, industry castings and auditions for all talent, East Coast. Casting calls for film/TV at UCF. Valencia College Film. Orlando Theater Network, Theater Networking and Resources in Orlando. Central Florida Auditioners Toolbox, and I got that one. Okay. And then DisneyAuditions.com.
And also OTown Dreamers, the podcast, where you find all of your entertainment audition news.
There you go. So guys, go ahead and join all of those groups, and I think that you will find them really useful, and that's a good place if you're just moving to Orlando or thinking of moving to Orlando and wanting to get started.
And if you're going to mention Disney auditions, I would have to say you got to mention Universal auditions.
Absolutely. What is wrong with me, of course?
Universalorlando.com, I think, and /jobs.
Yes.
Then you can find auditions for that and sign up for the email reminders.
Yes.
Fade out and stuff. Seriously, obviously, first, thank you for being here. It's awesome.
Yes.
Thanks. I'm honored to be here. I'm humbled to be here, and it makes me laugh that you would call me an improv master, because I'm thinking of the people who are listening to this and whose heads would explode.
Oh my goodness! Stop.
By hearing you refer to me as an improv master.
Stop.
And I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh, get out of here.
Everyone loves John Connon.
You're very sweet.
But before we're gonna play a fun game. We always start with like some fun game. Just to that's kind of not based around you, but kind of to showcase things that you do. But real quick, for the people who don't know who you are, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am an actor living in Orlando.
And that's John Connon, everybody. I'm just kidding. No, I tease.
Roll credits.
I tease. Roll credits. No, go ahead.
Slam. I just slammed the door and left. I'm a actor living in Orlando, Florida. I've been here since '93. So been here quite a while. And been involved in a lot of stuff around town. I've been involved in theme park work. I've been involved in convention work. I've done so many commercials, a couple films. I've written some plays. So I've done a lot of things.
A smorgasbord of things.
Smorgasbord, yeah. And now recently I'm starting to teach improv at SAC Comedy Lab. Teaching level 1 improv, and I'm also teaching a course sort of in conjunction with Russ Blackwell, teaching an improv for the actor kind of course.
Nice.
That's the whole, like, that's what I wanted to do at first, because like during SAC I did SAC 1. I think that was just SAC 1.
Yeah.
But I think the reason I didn't move on to SAC 2 because I thought it would be all actors. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first did SAC, or when I first did SAC, the university, that's what it's called, right? I wanted it. I was like, oh, there's gonna be a whole bunch of actors trying to work on their craft, but which is great for people who are not as pretentious as I am, to go in there and they're just like. They're just people, like, trying to get better at, public speaking and all this kind of stuff, which is super cool.
Level 1 is sort of open for that, sort of the hobbyist, the person who is just trying to find something interesting to do. Some people come in there because they do have that fear of public speaking, so it kind of helps them with that.
Right.
As you get, move further into the program, it does sort of like specialize more for people who are performers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I didn't know that. That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll come back.
And you should continue.
No, that's awesome. So I know that's just seriously in a nutshell, John Connon. But let's move on to our first segment that we created for you.
Woo!
And we call this Writer's Block. So John Connon is a comedian and also a writer, correct?
Yes.
And
you could say that.
And you have a huge relationship with the theme parks.
Yeah, I've been with Universal since '93.
Come on.
I know. Like, I'm older than a lot of the people that I work with. I could be their dads.
You don't look it, though.
Thank you.
You just don't.
You're very sweet. And then I did a stint at Disney. I call it a stint. I was there for 15 years.
A stint.
I know. But, I worked at the Adventures Club on Pleasure Island at Disney for 14 years. And then, like, 2 sort of loose years following the closing of Pleasure Island where I didn't really quite have a home, and I was sort of like
Sure.
doing some DEG stuff, and like I got put into this thing called Welcome Home Wednesday, which was a thing that we would do for the Disney Vacation Club members,
That's
and
cool.
we had like this little game show, and I was the host of that,
That's fun.
which was really fun.
Well, speaking of games, but you also got to work on the other side of the table at Universal as well.
Yes.
Doing some directing, which is awesome. So
Yeah.
what we're gonna do for this game is we're going to
Casually write a show.
casually write our own theme park show for
Yeah.
Universal Studios. Now, so we're gonna incorporate writing and improv and theme parks into this. So here's what's gonna happen. We're all gonna grab 3 pieces of paper, and they're all individual. One is a Universal IP.
Okay.
And the other 2 packets are just random nonsense words.
Okay.
They're just different suggestions. For example, one's gonna be like McDonald's hamburger, maybe, or Frozen the musical. That wouldn't make sense, or Tiffany blue ukulele, whatever. And then
She did what?
it took me a second. I was like, "What?" So anyway, and then after we get those suggestions, we're gonna take maybe like 2 minutes or
Okay.
whatever to just kind of figure out what our new show for Universal Studios
Awesome.
is, and I'll cut the 2 minutes off from the show so they're not listening to silence. But yeah, whoever creates the show that we would all 100% go see,
Okay.
that they'll be the winner.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
So I'm gonna get our little first baggie, and these are all just Universal IPs. So everybody take one. You don't have to reveal it. You can look at it yourself if you want.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then this is our second baggie, and this is just normal. Oh, this is just nonsense. Nonsense words, right? Oh no, wait. One of them is nonsense words, and one is something dangerous. That's to add conflict. Conflict is what makes a story.
You'll know right away what it is.
There's a lot of shark.
I hope I get a riverboat, a skipper, and a shark.
Yes.
All right, so these are just, I don't know which ones these are, but this is just something
These are
else.
part of the equation.
Yeah, part of the equation.
Oh, mine's blank.
Oh, okay. Well, then pick another one.
That's your suggestion.
That's your
Can you
suggestion.
imagine? I had a friend who, are we recording? I had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
friend
yeah.
who went and got a fortune cookie and opened it, and it was blank.
Oh,
Your future is
She was like,
you have no
She
future.
had no future. She was like, I don't want to walk out to the parking lot by myself. Okay, I got one.
Is someone write on it?
Yes.
Okay, great. And lastly, this is, were those the dangerous situations? Or was that just random nonsense, Christina?
This was the dangerous.
Oh, okay. So then this is just a
so
nonsense
this is,
word.
yeah.
All right. No, I do want to reveal. I want us to go around and reveal, and then we'll take this time and figure out what we're gonna do. But we'll start with our guest.
Sure.
What just so let's talk about what's your IP?
My IP is Dora the Explorer.
Oh, good. All right, and your danger word?
Frying pan. A frying pan.
Frying pan. And okay, and
My
your
nonsense
word,
suggestion.
yeah.
Jump ropes. Jump ropes.
Jump ropes.
Jump
Okay.
Ropes.
So
Nice.
something has to do with Dora an attraction or a show that has to do with Dora the Explorer, frying pan,
Sure.
and a jump rope, or ropes to be exact, plural, won't you?
Yeah. Well,
Christina.
Yes.
So what's your IP?
So my IP was Frankenstein.
Oh,
My
solid.
dangerous thing was a shock collar.
ooh.
And my nonsense word was a toothpick.
Oh, all right. That might go together.
It's gonna be great, Sage.
No,
all right.
that might go together. Okay, my IP, mine actually would just be the ride. Mine's Jurassic Park. An electric fence.
What in the heck?
And Dr. Gloves. So like that'll be my catalyst. So
I love that they're called Dr. Gloves.
not
Not
rubber
latex
gloves.
gloves,
Right.
so yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey,
You know those
gotta-
things that doctors use.
Doctor's
They're,
gloves.
Hey,
You know.
everybody. Yeah. So all right, and your time begins now.
Okay.
you good?
So we're walking into a pitch meeting.
Yes, why
It's
not?
just like that Jackbox game.
Oh yeah, all right. Well, welcome. We'll welcome John into the boardroom, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
please come in, sit down, John.
Okay. Picture this.
Right.
It's a frying pan. It is a massive frying pan. All right, and in it is all like things that will pop, like that could like burn you, like lava. You know how like when you were a kid, you would like jump on the furniture and the floor would be lava. Yeah, we all did that, right?
Yeah.
Right. Not just me.
Completely, 100%.
No, yeah,
Just
yeah.
me. All right, so the whole base of the stage is frying lava, okay, and floating around is like frying stuff like a bacon strip, and an egg,
Yes.
and some sausage links.
Breakfast food.
Yeah, all things you'd fry up. We could have like a stir fry section there too, with
Yes.
like carrots and celeries and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Dora the Explorer, she's got her friends. She's got Map, right? She's got the
monkey.
the monkey
Boots.
the monkey kid. Yeah, and the Diego. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so they have to cross the frying pan to get to their destination, which is the sacred temple of Jum Props.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And unless they get into the sacred temple of Jum Props, the whole universe will explode.
Oh,
all
no.
right, if they don't make it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what happens. They jump around on bacons. They jump around on eggs. They're flying around all over the place. They end up in the stir fry.
Uh-huh.
But in the end, Dora and her map solve the situation, and they make it up to the temple of Jum Props, and they save the day.
Oh.
I have two questions.
Uh-huh.
One, is it a musical?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Of course it is.
And two, when can you start?
You're hired.
Tomorrow.
You're
I like.
hired.
Okay, all right, that's good. I like that. Like it started off as John Connon and halfway went into a Jewish mother. Like, yeah, Dora, you never call.
You never call anymore. You're always in danger.
That's
I'm
brilliant.
so worried about you.
You need better friends, honey.
Too much. All right, do you want me to go? Or you want to go next?
I can go next.
All right.
I'm pretty excited about this. So picture this, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's a ride, it's an attraction.
Sure.
Very much like a la Transformers
Ooh.
or Spider-Man, a simulated moving ride.
Yeah, I hear you.
Uh-huh. And you're in Frankensteins Lab. You wake up and you're like, whoa, where am I? Why are we here?
I'm already nervous.
You party, you're
I've
right.
been-
And you wake up and you're in Frankenstein's lab, and then you see Frankenstein rise
Oh my
from
God.
his table, right? And he appears to have a shot collar, right? You notice that, and then a button lights up in front of you in your party, right?
Sure.
You have 5 times to shock him to stop him, so
Oh.
you can get away. But
So like a Buzz Lightyear.
yes, but you only have a limited amount of shocks you can give him.
Okay.
Okay? And you're trying to get out of the lair, but the only way that you can get out is by using toothpicks.
I'm
Right.
listening.
Okay.
Right? You have to look around and navigate with your group, kind of like a little Millennium Falcon ride over at Galaxy's Edge,
Nice.
where you can control the moving car.
Is
The
it a
ride
car?
system.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can move around and try and find the toothpicks, and you find the toothpicks, but you run out of shocks till you can get Frankenstein.
What is the vehicle? That's
what I
is
wanna
my
know.
major question.
Right. That would be an operating table.
Of course. A
That
gurney.
that can move.
Gurney.
A gurney,
gurney.
Yes.
if you will.
That can move.
The gurney.
Right?
Sure.
And you have to successfully obtain the toothpicks to pry the door open so you can escape.
And if you don't,
Frankenstein will shock you.
oh good. Good. This
He will place the shock
children of
collar
all
on you.
ages.
It'll shock your entire car.
Yes.
It'll shock your
and
entire gurney.
it'll move the whole car and everything. I think it'll be great.
So
yeah.
use those shocks sparingly
Yes.
throughout the ride.
Yes.
Oh man, this is
You have to continue the Jewish
this
voice.
is too funny. I don't do Jewish well, but I do like a weird like Gangster thing.
Brooklyn, eh?
Brooklyn, hey, I'm the hard one here. Okay, so this is like Figment, you know Figment, right?
Dragon?
The purple of imagination.
It's a dragon, right?
Yes, it's a dragon. Okay. Yeah. So this is like a ride for children, right? Okay. So the big thing that I miss about theme parks is original characters.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Original character, not all this, IP nonsense.
I get you.
Less so. So I'd like to I'd like to introduce you to Grover the Glove.
Oh,
Grover the Glove.
the Dr. Glove.
The Dr. Glove is Grover the Glove, and he's a lovable character. Got a big face, got a big smile, and you're actually in another. Your cart is a glove.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see. So
yeah.
a glove within a glove.
A glove within a glove.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Really
Meta.
Meta. Thank you. So you get into this glove and you meet Grover for the first time. You're traveling along, and then the animatronic is like, "Oh boy." If I had one dream, it would be to see dinosaurs. And so he falls asleep in front of the TV.
Of course.
Right. And so then all of a sudden the TV expands and you travel through the TV.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
And he happened to be watching Jurassic Park the movie.
Right.
Okay, so now we're in Jurassic Park, but because we now inside the TV, and we're traveling along, and we see Glovey, little Grover Glovey.
Grover Glovey.
Yeah, like swinging in on a vine, saying, "I'm the dinosaurs now."
I see no problems with this.
Okay, but
Whatsoever.
This
but
seems in budget.
No, but listen, and so travel along. We see some pterodactyls.
Sure. Because the P is not silent.
That's right, not in the Glovey
No
world.
one will silence my P's.
Absolutely, and we keep traveling along, and then things take a turn for the worse.
A tone.
Oh, shit.
So listen, then dinosaurs start to attack him.
Mm-hmm.
They are allergic to latex. They have a latex discrimination thing that
Well,
we
they probably genetically engineered it like the other thing that they did
Right.
in the movie.
Oh, right, exactly. It took me a second to
They're
get
all
there.
female, and they're all lactated, latex intolerant.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, lactating latex is what I heard. So anyway, things take the turn for the worse. He's going along, and then he's running away from this dinosaur, and boom, he hits an electric fence.
Okay.
Blackout. Strobe lights. He wakes up back on the couch. The whole thing was a dream, and you exit the ride.
I love it.
Oh.
I love it.
Wow.
Okay, so out of the 3 rides, we've all got great things, but we can only build one.
Okay.
Which one are we gonna build? I am a fan of musicals.
Giving jobs to performers.
So
Sure,
I'm gonna have to go Dora and the Magical Map.
And the sure. And
Wow.
the jump rope.
Oh, the
Jump ropes.
Land of Jump?
The land of jump ropes.
Jump ropes.
Yeah.
What about you, Christina?
I like it. I'm going to build mine. That's what
She
I'm
says,
gonna
"Screw
go with.
you."
Screw you and your musical and your
Yeah,
frying pan musical.
yeah. We'll
All
look in
right.
the budget, see if we can do all of them.
That's right. We're all winners here.
Yay!
And
Freeze
scene.
frame.
Freeze frame. Oh, good job, guys. John, that was a bunch of fun. Christina,
Yes.
roll with them, mama.
Right, so this is NPR. This is where things get very serious and we have no fun at all.
None at all.
Sure. PBS voices.
Right. No, that's not what we do here, right? We're fun. So,
Yeah,
what
no.
brought you to Orlando originally? You're
I
not
love it.
originally from here,
I'm
correct?
not. Correct.
Yeah, so what brought you here? Like, why O-Town?
Well, why O-Town? That's an interesting question. Let me see. So I graduated from the theater department at University of Michigan, and my friends were all dispersing, and they were doing the big markets. Half of my friends went to New York, and half of my friends went to LA, and I was too overwhelmed by that prospect of doing that.
Right.
So we were kind of So me and my partner, we were, you know, wondering what the next step was going to be. We talked about moving to Chicago because I have always wanted to do, like, I've loved SNL from when I was a child.
Right.
And I knew that, you know, Second City was in Chicago, and like that was something that I was always drawn to, this idea of going to Chicago. In the meantime, we decided oddly to move to Hilton Head, South Carolina, which is random and weird.
Why?
Because it was summer and some of our friends were like, we're going to go down and work in the hotels and we're going to make bank. And we were like, okay, let's do that. Because we're like, we have nothing is tying us to Ann Arbor, Michigan. We were just kind of like I said, we're just kind of floating. And we hadn't quite committed to moving to Chicago yet. And so these friends were like, let's move to Hilton Head, South Carolina. And we were like, okay. So we hopped in the car and we, sure enough, moved to South Carolina. And we were there for the summer and it was awesome. And it was like a college party, like it was just all these college kids and we had a blast.
Hell yeah.
But we didn't have a plan beyond Labor Day. So Labor Day hit and literally the island dies. It turns into a ghost town. And all of our friends left. And then we were like,
Oh, no.
what are we doing?
Oh, no.
And we had these like 5 random months where we were like, seriously, like losing all the money that we made over the summer. We were like, we made bank. We did. And then we blew it all.
As you do.
Yeah. So in the interim of that, my mother and my father were here in Orlando. And at that time, they were building an infrastructure for, they called it Hollywood East. And they were like, we are going to, you know, we're making movies here.
Didn't we literally just say East LA? We literally,
Yeah.
that's something we've said.
I mean, that was a thing. They
Yeah.
called it, they were like, Orlando, Florida is Hollywood East. And
Wow.
they built, you know, Universal Studios.
Right.
They built MGM studios at Disney. And the infrastructure was there. You know, the sound stages, the jobs, like all of that was here. So it was just like, and you know, my mom and dad were very encouraging, and they said, you know, you'll probably do really well down here. So we were like, okay. And yeah, so that's what we did. We moved down here. We were like, we'll probably be here for like 5 years. And just like, you know, and then go to one of the
Do
bigger
the
markets.
thing, yeah.
Right.
You know. And then we got down here, and I got the job at Universal right away.
Wow.
And then I started to...
As a performer?
No, I worked on a ride.
Cool.
But,
do
but I
tell.
I was on the confrontation ride. It was a spieling ride, so it did feel like
Like an actor job.
an actor job.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Confrontation. That was the
That's where the-
trolley, the car. God, what's
It
it
was
called?
a cable car.
Cable car. Thank
Yeah.
you.
The Roosevelt Island tram.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
that ride. I loved it.
Yeah, and then you encounter King Kong, and it was this massively tall animatronic.
You should look it up on YouTube if you get a chance.
okay,
It's very
okay.
cool.
Yeah. And we did this 5-minute spiel, and we went around this ride, and we did it like 3 times, and then we got a break, and then you had to, you know, do the other responsibilities of running the ride. So that was your kind of like hour, was that you had a little break, you did 15 minutes in this one location, 15 minutes in the other location, and then 15 minutes circling the tram. And I was like, I was so like pretentious about it. I'm like, I'm treating this like an acting job.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm going to have the opportunity to repeat this monologue over and over and over again. And I need to make it fresh, and I need to make it interesting for each new audience
love
that I
it.
have. And that was my attitude. And so I did that for a year, and then I did get cast as Barney Rubble, like live action Barney Rubble. They were promoting
Flintstones.
the Flintstones
Love
movie.
it.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was based off of the Rick Moranis.
Did you ever do that musical? They did a Flintstones musical at the parks a long time ago. That may have been before your time, though.
No, I did every live action Barney Rubble thing that was at Universal. I did.
No, maybe it's not a music. Maybe it was a stage show. There was a stage show.
We had
right?
a Christmas show. Was that the one you're talking
maybe.
about? Yeah, because we did have a Christmas show, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Nice.
We had the live action Flintstones. We had some Hanna-Barbera characters, And yeah, and it was in
That's
front
awesome.
in front of the big Christmas tree, and it was a blast.
Nice.
While you're talking about your theme park career, because you posted a picture of you the other day, or maybe actually I was going through your Facebook to find your headshot picture.
Sure.
And there was one of you holding the smoke cannon near
Yes.
Islands of Adventure. So obviously you've done a bunch of things.
I've done a ton of
do
stuff.
Do you have like your top? Obviously, besides a Sing It host, or do you have your
Right.
top two or three favorite things you've done in the parks? That obviously, if you have to be vague, go for it. But
I don't think I need to be vague. I think the as far as like camaraderie and like just a fun, amazing group to work with, it was the Flintstones.
Sure.
We just, the four of us, we became such great friends.
Right.
And we would have these just stories, like the things that guests would say to us, and we would just be like, oh my God, like what would come out of people's mouths. For example, one time we were out there on the street and this guy comes up and he goes, "What are you, the porno Flintstones?" And my Betty at the time, a woman I love, she's out in LA right now, she was so appalled at the question that she didn't even think, and she just like looked at him and as loudly, she went, "The porno Flintstones?" Like as loud as she could be, and we're like, there are a million children around. Like for one, it was bad enough that it was said.
Sure.
And then like
repeated
with vigor.
repeated with anger and just like so
but truly at the end of the day, it was a compliment to you guys because you guys were so attractive.
So hot. We were, like so hot. But that was one of the funnest gigs because the group itself, the group dynamic was so much fun. We laughed all the time and just fun characters to play. And the fact that the Flintstones were known by everyone.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like I've played characters that people often mistook for other characters.
Sure.
You know, and for example, I did Stan Laurel, Love Laurel and Hardy, and people were constantly
Like Charlie Chaplin.
that and the Abbott and Costello, who's on first? And I'd be like, we'd be like, that's not our bit. I literally had this woman like I'm doing Stan Laurel and I'm like, I'm doing the hair thing and I'm like, that's not our bit. and she looks at her family and she's like, he doesn't know the bit. And we're like, it's not, you idiot.
That's
Up.
How long did
funny.
that go for?
What, Laurel and Hardy?
The
or
Flintstones.
Flintstones was sort of off and on. They kind of brought the Flintstones to promote the film, and then it went away, and then promoting, it was Christmas, so we did a Christmas show.
Promoting
and then
Christmas.
We were promoting Christmas. But then
this Christmas.
exactly, the Flintstones.
this December.
Like you've never seen it before. And then the second movie came out, the Viva Rock Vegas movie, where they were like younger versions of themselves. So then I was doing that as well.
Oh, okay.
Which was really fun. And then at some point they were like, we need to put these guys in the park all the time, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then it was my 40-hour gig.
Dang,
I did
dude.
that 5 days a week.
That's awesome.
And then, so there was that, and then the other gig that I loved was playing in Disaster, and
yeah.
Disaster was like, for me, it was very, it taught me a lot because it was literally just me holding a room
Right.
for 20-something minutes.
Right.
I mean, we had the script and we had, the assistance of all of our, we had our techs and our ops teams.
Sure.
It was all of that. But it really felt like, okay, I'm the one person that people are watching here. And so I feel like I learned a lot as a performer because I also had to stall a lot. And so then it was like, oh, okay.
A lot of improv.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a lot of improv, a lot of like in the moment going, how am I going to entertain these people for an unknown period of time. Like, if, for example, if the train had gone down or whatever, if there was just a delay on the platform, and we were kind of like, okay, now I'm suddenly like having to go off script and engage people in a unexpected way, and it really taught me a lot as a performer.
It reminded me of like Poseidon's Fury. That kind of has the same kind of deal.
Exactly.
Where you just have to start talking, and
You
then
just start talking, and 25 minutes later,
what is the strangest one you ever did? And then we'll obviously get back to our questions. I'm just curious. The strangest one you ever did? Theme park gig you ever did?
The strangest was probably that one that you talked about the picture of. Is we when Islands of Adventure opened up, we had an X-Men show, and it was on the street.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so IOA was opening up, and I was super excited because it was a whole new opportunity, like a ton of new jobs, and I really wanted to. I was really at that time trying to get into shape and like do some of the stunt shows because I really wanted to do the Wild West stunt show at the time, and so I was like doing my pull-ups, and I was like, really trying hard, and I wanted to be in the Sinbad stunt show as Kebab, and so I was like really training to do that, and I didn't end up getting that job, and it was a real bummer for me. But then they offered me this street show, and the name of the character was the Heckler, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm playing the Heckler, and I know nothing about Marvel. Like, I know nothing about these characters.
Is that a real character?
No. I thought it was.
Right.
And so then I was like looking it up. Like, I was trying to I'm going to do my research. I'm going to find out everything there is to know about this character. Backstory, motivation, my origin story.
Wants, needs, yes.
There's nothing. Because it was a universal creation.
Sure.
So that made me laugh. But I was...
Was it a superhero character?
No. The idea of it was that the X-Men were coming out. We had an Xavier at the time. Storm, Rogue, and Wolverine were in the show. And then I, as the Heckler, was in the crowd protesting mutants. So I became
dude.
the
bad
villain.
guy. That's dope.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And so they like dispatched me a couple times, and then at the end of the show, I went up on top of that popcorn stand with that gun, and I was, spraying the crowd with this CO2 cannon, and then Storm would come from like the top of the next building. She would slide for life down to me, and then just kick my butt.
Slide for life is zip line.
She'd like zip line down.
Stunt world.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
totally. And it was pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
We did that for the summer.
Sorry for my.
It was
curious.
super weird though.
No, I love
and
that.
So for everybody listening, you had many crazy, weird opportunities here in Orlando.
Absolutely.
So many.
Appeal to
so many
the
weird things.
weird side of you. So how long have you been doing improv total in your life experience, and then here in Orlando?
Well, that's why I laugh at the being called an improv master, because I have stumbled into these opportunities, and it's been amazing because I've sort of skipped a lot of the training and been thrown into the fire to do these jobs.
And that's still training, though. It's training by experience. I mean, that's how most of us got into the business.
Right.
It's experience. That's definitely training.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But then people will ask me these tell me about your training and your
How often do you do Meisner?
right, and like,
Dude.
or these like legendary improv writers and these people who write books about improv, and I'm like, I haven't read those. Like I didn't know who they even were. Like, people were talking in these like formats that when I did start. Okay, anyway, to back up. When I did move here and when I was working at the Kong Ride, I met this guy, David. And David had a gay improv troupe. And he liked my show on the spieling thing. And he was like, we need you to be in our improv troupe. And I was like, okay. So
Let's do it.
let's do it. And then
Sounds legit.
yeah, and so we got that. We had this group together, and we were called Florida's Freshest Fruit. we were called the Improv Abilities was our name.
That's awesome.
And our guy Troy, who put us together, he was sort of like training us with these short form games, but I had never like experienced that before. So, but we ended up like getting venues, and we were doing shows regularly, and there was a wonderful actor from Pleasure Island who was in the Comedy Warehouse who was just checking out because it was improv, and he wanted to check it out in the community, and he saw us. He would come frequently, and he would say, you know, you'd be really great over at Disney. You should try this out. You should come and audition. So I did go into audition there, and I got to work at the Adventurers Club.
Cool.
Yeah, and the Adventurers Club was this wonderful mix of scripted things, cabaret, and improv. Because we would be out on the floor for 20 minutes, and all we had was our character. That was it. And we were literally mingling with people and creating moments, and
It's awesome.
And just yeah. Talk about like those people were so amazing, and I would just sit there in awe, and I'd be like, I can't believe I work here. Like, I can't believe I got cast in this.
Right.
You know? And so they were wonderful, wonderful people to learn from. And then, you know, so simultaneously I got the Barney Rubble thing, which was also throwing me out into the street and just saying, make something happen.
Right.
You know? As just be this character and interact with people and make funny things happen. You know, so that's what I spent my life doing. And so fast forward to 2012, I think it was.
Okay.
Where SAC Comedy Lab, and I had always gone to SAC Comedy Lab, like as an audience member, and been like, oh man, this is awesome. I would love to do this.
So you knew about it before coming to Orlando?
Yeah, I knew. Well, not before I came to Orlando, but over the course of being here in Orlando, then I was like, I knew about it, and I knew people who did it, and I thought, this would be so much fun. I got to get into this. I got to try this, and it was always one of those things where I did always go, but I am doing it professionally. Like, I am being paid to do it, so I don't know that I need the classes because I'm already doing it. And I think that it was this weird thing where I was like, I probably don't need the intro level, and I probably could come in at a second or third level at this point in my life, but it was sort of a back burner, and I was always very busy to begin with anyway, because Pleasure Island kept me extremely busy, and Universal. So I was working those two jobs. And finally, it just so happened, the club was closed. Pleasure Island was sort of out of my life, and I had a lot of evenings free. And my friend Chase Padgett, who is...
We talked about him last night.
Amazing.
Yeah, Chase is awesome.
He is, and just a wonderful human being. But they were having this sort of... SAC sort of had a shift in creative management.
Sure.
And one of the things that the new regime wanted to do was do these community mashups. So they reached out to people that were well known, and they would say they would invite us to come in and perform with the ensemble. And so all of my friends were doing this, and I was like, I want to do this. I really want to get into this.
Yeah.
And Chase was like, you need to do this. So I ended up getting a message out, and Mike Carr invited me to get up there and perform. I was so nervous because it was all these short form games that I wasn't familiar with, and I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing up here? And then Chase invited me to be a part of his brawl team. We did the SAC brawl, which was like...
I've heard of that.
What is it?
Okay, so we had it was kind of like a tournament, like an improv tournament.
Oh, fun!
And each team was themed. You could just come up with whatever theme you wanted. and you would come out and and it was just wild. It was like 11 o'clock, 11:30 on a Saturday night, and it was nuts. So our team was the Man Aerobics, and our theme was that we had been bitten by a radioactive aerobics instructor and turned from mild-mannered IT guys into aerobics.
So from the heckler to this, you're just always looking for your origin story.
Exactly.
These are some amazing roles.
That's funny.
But we had these tight pink shorts and these like white beater shirts on, and I had commissioned this costumer to create us these nerd tearaway outfits. So we came out looking like these IT guys, and then we'd play some song and we'd just rip all of this off.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then we were
Legends.
we won.
See, there we go.
We won. Yeah.
Commission your local costumer.
Yeah.
But then you obviously proceeded to perform at SAC more and more.
Yeah,
and more.
so then I did get invited to be a part of SAC, and I was put into their Next Gen cast,
Right.
Which is like one of the student casts. They have their lab rats on Tuesdays, and they have Next Gen on Wednesday nights, and then the ensemble is their weekend people. And they're professional people. They get paid to do that. And so gradually, like over the couple of years, I was invited to become a host, and then I was invited to become a part of the Guerrilla Theater cast,
Right.
Which is on Friday nights. And then shortly thereafter, like I'd done that for a little bit of a while, and then I was kind of like,
Let's do it.
can I be in the ensemble?
Right.
And they were like, yes, of course.
So I think the thing to take away from this story, and it's something that I try and tell all theme park performers in general, or even if you have a spieler job, is that that you're not pretentious by saying I'm gonna treat this seriously. You do. You treat everything, whether you're Barney Rubble or a Grover Glove.
Yep.
You treat it like it's Hamlet, or because if you don't, and the reason that you did was the reason that you were noticed and how you got to where you are now. I mean that's you taking it seriously is what got it started.
I do think that's critical, and I think that there are people who kind of look down on theme park as work, and because for whatever reason, but I can honestly say that since I became an adult, 100% of my earnings are from performing.
Yep.
I think I remember you saying that you didn't have a waiting tables type job
I never
when you
did.
moved here. It was like
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And
We just high-fived.
I never did, and I'm not looking down on that at all.
No.
But I do take some pride in the fact that how I've made my living has been performing. And yeah, so I think it is about commitment. I think it's about taking it seriously and giving it all you've got.
Absolutely.
So is there a point where you wanted to move to LA or New York?
It always pops up, like every once in a while, because I have friends who are very successful, and it's kind of like, oh man, why not me? In that sense, But I do look at the quality of life that I have here in Orlando, and which is extremely important to me.
Yeah.
And again, I go back to I think this is a funny story, but I have a friend who moved out to LA, probably a decade or two ago, and he wanted me to move out there. He was like, "You should come with me. We should go out there." And I was like, I looked at him and I went, "I don't know. I don't want to become a famous person." And he laughed at me, and he started laughing at me, and he goes, oh, like you're going to go out to LA and become a famous person like that. And I looked at him and I went, well, then what is the point?
Yeah, well.
What is the point? Because I'm doing whatever I would want to be doing. I'm doing it here.
Right.
So the only other thing would be to be a celebrity. Or, and of course, there's I could get on a TV show and I could make a whole lot more money.
Sure.
That would be a whole different thing. But the sort of amount of hustling that is involved
Right.
in order to do that
That's a lot.
is I was weighing like what I already have.
Right.
And
Yeah.
So
And I think you're super talented. I think you could be a celebrity, but I don't think I could ever see you as a celebrity because I feel like, you'd be sitting there doing your crossword puzzles and somebody would come up to you and be like, yes, hello, it's me, John
yes,
Connon.
of course you're gonna have
My friends
Come
call
here. Let me just-
me
yeah, let me
JC.
Sign
like
this for you.
Well, the other thing that always makes me laugh is like listening to celebrities like have those moments where people mistake them for somebody else, like they think they're a different actor, or they expect that somebody wants their autograph and the person like absolutely does not, or like want.
Oh God.
Yeah.
like anticipating wanting a selfie, and like, okay, I'll take a picture with you, and they're like, I don't even know who you are. I'm fine with my anonymity.
I literally just listened to a story. I just watched it. I was on the Hollywood Game Night or something with Jane Lynch and
Yeah.
Donald Faison. Did you? Is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the most recent ones that I had talked about.
So the story goes, Donald Faison was like walking down the street and saw this girl with a shirt on, and he was on the shirt.
Yeah.
Like his face was on the shirt.
I think it was a Clueless shirt, or it was either a Scrubs
or something.
yeah, whatever.
And so he walks over and he goes, "Hey, you want to take a picture?" And she goes, "Yeah, sure, I guess." And then so they start taking pictures, and then finally, the guy that was with it goes, "Oh, hey, that dude's on your shirt." And she was like,
She had no idea.
"Oh my gosh, that's crazy!" And he's like, "Well, why do you think we're taking a picture?"
Oh my God.
It's hilarious.
I love Kathy Bates tells a story where she had like been on this red carpet thing or whatever and was like signing autographs, and it was this big hubbub or whatever, and all these celebrities were around, and so she was like, do you want my autograph? And they were like, okay. And so then she like started signing all these autographs, and like after everything was done, like people had cleared out, she just saw these like papers of her autograph like on the ground.
Oh no.
And I just like,
Oh no. It's so sad.
it's so weird.
so sad.
That I was like, I don't even want any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before
Totally.
we move on to your writing,
Yes.
do you just want to put us because we have time, because we didn't do news, we didn't do a lot of news. Do you want to put us through like a short 3-minute improv masterclass that if you want to, that you can obviously include us, or if you just want to just talk at us? And you can literally say no. You'd be like, I'm not prepared, I don't know. Or you just tell us the top 5 basic rules of improv, or...
I could tell you like a couple things.
Sure.
A couple things that I think of. Listening is so important. Listening to what is happening around you is really important.
Yep.
Also being prepared to let go of your planning, let go of your agenda, like coming into a scene. One of the things that happened to me very recently, which I thought was it was so interesting to be in the moment for me, but we had the scene and this suggestion, I cannot remember what the suggestion was, but I walked onto the stage and I was like, I'm gonna be, because I think it was Shakespeare. I think it was like Shakespeare or something like that. And so I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna be a Shakespeare, I'm gonna be a guard. Mm-hmm. So I like walked onto the stage, and then my partner started talking to me like I was her colleague, like whatever. And so then I was like, okay, we're not guards. We're something else. And so then I'm listening to her, and I'm like, okay, we're not guards. I'm not a guard. We're not guards. And then she says, she goes, the treehouse. And like all of a sudden I'm like, I went from like 3 things that I came into the scene with, and all of them just went bink, 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 gone, gone, gone. And then I was like, okay, I'm a kid, and it's a treehouse. And I hadn't even talked yet.
Right.
I hadn't even said anything yet.
Whoa, trippy.
And so then I was like, all right.
But those are the best
Yeah.
moments, though. Like,
It was really groovy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like so I think maybe I was at a SAC show or it was maybe something. But the funniest moment that I've ever seen where he walked on with this like his like angry face and personality. He walks on stage, and the guy that's with him, he goes, "Oh, hello, honey." He goes, "Hello." It just like changes his whole thing. I was like, well, I guess you got to do it. Your planning is worthless.
Well, it kind of like you do your partner a disservice to like come in and not listen to them or,
Right.
or to try to steer it into like what you're doing. And it's not to say get rid of your character, because that can be super fun too, to come in like, no, I am a guard, and now I am guarding this treehouse. Like that was a route I could have done, and that might have been interesting. But like I said, I hadn't even said anything yet, and I was just like walking. I was just coming onto the stage, and because of I was listening to her, then I was like, all right, there we go. I've gone through 3 different agendas here, and now we can do the scene. And it was a really funny scene, and I of course. You had to be there.
Sucks. Had to be there.
So listen to yourself. Abandon your planning if you have to.
Yeah, abandon planning. Just kind of, come onto the stage and be present. Buying into circumstances too, like immediately, is also very important. Kind of seeing that environment around you, and kind of getting an idea of where you are. And we talk about that a lot too. If you don't know where you are, just say where it is. Say what it is. And then your partner would be like, thank God, because I didn't know. I didn't know where we were either.
Right. Can I tell you, it's Adam Delmedico.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have obviously, the cardinal rule of improv, yes and, all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
So we have a fun game we like to play called No But.
No but, yeah.
So we used to play it, and he said, I was like, hey, I'm pumped to go to the, I pumped to go to the zoo with you. He's like, no, I'm not, but your grandmother's dying. Oh, God. Oh, no, that's terrible. Well, I guess we should go check on her. No, we won't, but Target just opened.
Just complete non sequiturs. Amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, listening is very important. Obviously, being present in the environment, having an offer, but being ready to kind of
Ditch that offer.
ditch the agenda.
Yeah.
It's weird. Agenda and offer, they're kind of different things. Because agenda means you're going to stick to it no matter what.
Right.
And it can get just very weird.
Agenda is the big picture. Offer is the small detail.
Yeah. To kind of like start the thing off.
Sure.
Yeah. Those are good.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
No, those are awesome.
Yeah. Love that.
Get into the writing, Christina.
So you write.
I
You're
do.
a writer.
I do like to write.
What are the things you typically write most? Is it films, plays? A little both.
A little of both. I've written a couple feature films that I'm really hoping somebody will buy. And
I've read one of them. It's so good.
Thank you.
So
Thank
good.
you.
What? How can I read them? Wait, where do I go to read them? Do I just email you?
You had to be there.
You had to be there.
You had to be
be
there. Oh well, now I
you.
feel left out. Now I'm gonna have to read it.
But I also do write short plays as well. I've taken some of the feature-length scripts that I've written, and I've tried to break them into like a little half-hour pilot to sort of see if we could take this feature and create a TV show kind of around it. So yeah.
How many of those of what you've written over the years have been produced?
The short plays have been produced
Nice.
at ArtSig, which is really great. ArtSig is a terrific,
Shout out to ArtSig. It's a great acting school to
great acting studio
Nice.
in town.
Go to
The OG acting school in town. Yvonne Suhor sadly has passed, but the environment that she created is really special, and it continues, and that's so wonderful. But one of the things that she created was this Play to Luna thing that we do every fall, and it showcases the students, and it helps the students get in front of industry people, casting directors, agents, that sort of thing. And so we do these 8 short plays every fall, and
That's really cool.
they're crazy.
Yeah.
And this
Oh my
year, we just recently, for the spring, started, this was our first one, we started Luna Dramatique, which is a dramatic version of Luna. Luna is
wild, crazy, funny,
raunchy, crazy, nuts.
It's a good time.
It's a super fun time. And then the Dramatique is like, wow, okay, it's more grounded. It's
Sure.
like,
Get emotional.
yeah, it could get really emotional. So super fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had several things produced there. I produced my own a couple web series because I was like, okay, well, I gotta get my stuff out there,
Right.
Somehow. So my writing partner and I, we created this web series and shot it, and then I partnered up with another team, and we created this. This Is Why I'm Single web series.
I saw a couple other episodes of that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Sex and the City, but for like a straight dude. It's kind of fun.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was like 11 episodes of these just terrible dates that this guy had been on, and
That's hilarious.
yeah, it was really fun.
Did you do Joe's?
Joe's NYC Bar, yeah.
You wrote that?
I didn't. Well, it's not written. It is completely improvised.
Or the concept, I'm sorry.
I did not. No, I did not come into that concept. I was invited into that concept. But yeah,
Well,
that's
let's. So I guess we'll kind of transition a little bit, just about, I guess, being able to do so many different side projects while while working at the theme parks, like
Yeah.
Like Joe's NYC pub.
we took that to Edinburgh.
Right, exactly.
Ayy.
Yeah, so cool. So, well, what is that concept, so people know?
The concept of Joe's is like a neighborhood bar in Brooklyn, and we would have these characters just mingling with the audience as they came in. I sort of like,
Yeah.
I would describe it as Cheers if it were written by Mamet. So it's like very gritty. It's very gritty, and it can get kind of heavy. But then we have these really fun light moments as well. But it's Christian Kelty who is the bartender, Gabriel.
Okay.
That it's his baby. He created this wonderful show, and a really great ensemble of various characters.
It's like a
And
Tony and Tina's wedding kind of deal, almost.
It's
in like a bar.
It's a lot more gritty, though.
Sure.
It is. I mean, sure. You could say it's like a Tony and Tina's in the sense that it is atmospheric and it is immersive.
Right.
But we do our best to keep it grounded, a little less zany. Tony and Tina's can be so like over the top.
Look at me.
Look at me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we got these hilarious, like zany characters, and like that's not what we're doing.
Right.
We're not doing that with Joe's. It's like you could literally come in and talk about something. What the wonderful, wonderful thing that happens with Joe's is that people will really open up, and they will really talk about things that are impacting them, and they can have this really cathartic moment in the audience. And the actors are just there to kind of support that happening.
Oh, okay. So when you say people are talking, you mean like the audience or the guests are the ones bringing up these like deep topics.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of have we have an idea of like story, sort of. We have like themes that we want to bring up. So we kind of find a way. We kind of find a way to make our entrances and to bring these thematic elements up. But what we do try to do in the course of the show is turn it out to the audience and kind of get them talking. So we might be like, you know, you down at the edge of the bar. I mean, has this ever happened to you? You know, this kind of thing, and then they're like, yeah, it has, and this is what happened, and blah blah blah, and then they, you know, it's amazing. It is amazing, and then we'll get like people's opinions on things, and people will really want to talk, and it's really awesome when you have somebody who is like, they have some really opposing views, and they can hammer this out. Like, they can be heatedly discussing this over the bar, but then we, as the actors, we kind of have that, we're kind of like gauging this, and then we're like, okay, now we can move this into something else.
Wow.
You know?
Do you guys have any plans to ever revamp that?
I would love to. I'm always open to do it. It's not up to me.
No, I just didn't know if there were any plans in the future yet.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. I'll let you. So just we'll talk about just how hard it is, because you do a lot of producing shows, and we talk about how Orlando is such a hub to do that, to produce shows because of Fringe and all those kind of things. Talk about that, challenges, all those kind of
challenges. I was looking at your questionnaire earlier, and I think Orlando is a great place. Orlando is a great community, and we have so much talent. We have infrastructure. The only thing that seems to be missing is financial. Is the people who want to front a lot of money, and these things can be very expensive. Especially I don't like to ask people to work for free. I have done that, but it does eventually suck. That you're like, hey, you want to come in and do this, and you'll have real material for later. We would want to be able to pay everyone for their work. It's just that's the thing. It's expensive, and nobody is coming forward and being like, yeah, I'll give you a whole bunch of money to do that.
So calling all producers, come on down to Orlando.
And also vote for incentives that help bring work to Florida.
That is one of the most frustrating things, because I've been here when it was that, back in the day, in the early 90s or mid 90s, it was like...
And that was the renaissance of truly Orlando entertainment was the 90s.
There was just so much happening, there was so much stuff coming in, and then...
Doug Live. You're right. Ace Ventura stunt show. Those were things that happened, man.
I was in Ace Ventura Jr. So
were you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had 2 scenes in that. It was really fun. But and then the government decides they don't want to incentivize that, and so all of that work went to Louisiana, went to North Carolina, and then eventually went to Georgia, and now Georgia is just kicking ass. Everything shoots in Atlanta, everything, and it's just and now they're understandably Georgia is going, yeah, we're not bringing in actors from other states. We're gonna do this. You need to live here,
right?
Because we're getting tax incentives for hiring Georgia residents. So it's the pickings for Florida actors in that regard are very slim. So it's this whole thing, and that's why I'm whenever I'm doing these workshops and whenever I'm having these moments, I'm like, please vote.
Yeah.
Vote. If you don't think that it matters, it matters. The fact that we don't have these incentives in our state is
insane,
killing this industry. you know. And it's a lot of people, and a lot of people have left. A lot of people have moved to Georgia, and then so we got all these infrastructure just sitting there, you know.
Yeah, so go vote. Absolutely. I think you can check out Film Florida, filmflorida.com, and look at all the information on there and educate yourselves, as I will be doing, because this is very important.
It's important.
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself. So, yeah.
So what are some things that you see newer performers coming in with that what are some of the mistakes that you see most newer performers making, and what advice would you give them?
Especially, with your experience behind the table and as a teacher and all these kind of things, because this podcast caters to aspiring performers trying to come to Orlando and all that kind of stuff. So what mistakes do you see? This is the what not to do section, and we'll get to the positive things afterwards.
I think I think that some things that are I don't know that I see occur are remember what serves the show. Remember what serves the show versus what serves your ego. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it does.
So I
feel free to unpack that.
Let me unpack that. I have observed, actors who, and I've done it. I'm sure I've done it. People are like, you do it too. But, you kind of get in front of the audience, and then it becomes something becomes a 3-act play that doesn't need to be and doesn't really drive the show. That it sort of like halts the energy of the show. And, of course, we were talking about things that are when things are unscripted, or things that are sort of have the freedom to be loose, script-wise, which a lot of our shows are.
Right, but the reason that they're unscripted for that moment is because it doesn't bring you into like this weird energy drop. The reason that they're unscripted moments is because we have some time to and it's not going to stop the energy from going.
Right.
But it's when that we're trying to get from A, B to C that you go A, B, B and a half, B and B and three quarters, C.
And you watch people kind of embellish moments or take these long things, and I kind of want to go, okay, remember what serves the show, what serves the audience, getting from A to C quickly, moving the show along. One of the things that we would always talk about in Joe's, and it's something that I love, is if you can say it in 50 words, you can probably say it in 25. And if you can say it in 25, you probably can say it in 14. It's like you can use economy of words, economy of brevity is key, man. Sometimes these jokes, especially in comedy, especially in you can just spin around the setup.
Yeah.
And then before you hit the punchline, and by then you've lost the rhythm of the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah. And
that's a great little, even just a piece of advice.
And I've seen that because I've been trying to write stand-up as a thing too. So now I'm going okay, how do I take this joke and make it tighter? And by being tighter, it's more of a surprise, and it becomes.
And the hardest thing about stand-up is that you're not going to know the answer until you
perform
do
it.
Yeah.
and then you're sitting there kind of like talking to the audience and being like, I've got this big long setup, and now it just sucks.
Right.
Now it's it's gone. So that's one thing.
Okay.
sort of keeping that in mind, what serve the show and not your ego. I think the other thing is take notes. Be open to notes. It's interesting.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's interesting the number of people that I've talked to who are not open to it.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, I'm just trying to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's and I don't know if it's I don't kids today. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's kids today. I mean, there are a lot of actors my age that are.
But I wonder, you know, because that wasn't a thing. But I think that to me anyway, or 15 years into this, there's a it's more of a recent thing that I've seen, or maybe it's just because of the, you know, group of people that I'm in or something like that. But it's been more in the past 5 years that, you know, now that I've had to step into a more leadership position, I'm noticing it a lot more, and I wonder if there's a cost, if there was like a catalyst, like what made it happen?
Participation trophies. That's what it is.
Participation.
Do you blame
Literally what it
participation?
is. Yeah,
That's
because
really
if
funny.
everything you do
Well-
is like first place, here you go, good job,
I
you
think
did it, you
that's interesting.
participated.
Yeah.
You, of
And
course,
it
taking
became-
a note is like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Everything I do is great.
Yeah.
Wow, Christina asking the real questions today.
I mean,
I don't know if that. But I mean, that might be.
I grew up with
part
just
of it.
before the cusp of all the participation trophies. So that and the fact that my dad was like, you got to keep a little bit of you ain't shit in your head, you know, just so that you're not.
Yeah.
You're able to take notes. I think
Yeah.
that's super important.
I absolutely think it's important. I think it's. Again, it goes back to serving the show. Serve the show, not your ego. So the note is generally to serve the show. But people don't want to hear that if their egos feel bruised.
Yeah. Well, we're right at an hour.
Okay.
So we're gonna wrap this puppy up.
All right.
So Christina, will you ask the final question?
My favorite question of the night. Why do you love Orlando? And what's the biggest piece of advice that you could give to Billy from Delaware, who just wants to be a performer?
Billy from Delaware. What I love about Orlando is I love the community in Orlando. I love the lifestyle of Orlando. We have a real quality of life in Orlando. My partner and I have talked, like I said, we've talked about going to other markets. We've talked about, what if we move to LA? What if we move to Chicago? What that means is we start over. And then we're struggling and we're doing that thing, which we don't have to do because we're doing the thing anyway.
Right.
Okay. So, we have a house. We've got our dogs, and we make a good living, and it's really great. The community is extremely supportive. I feel like the people here are usually genuinely happy for somebody who gets a successful thing. You know, I feel like maybe in other bigger markets or whatever, because it is so hard to get things or to get a slice of that pie. I think that when somebody gets that slice of that pie, there might be a little bit more jealousy or a little bit more, towards
Less
that.
for me.
Why him, not me?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Whereas I feel like there's a lot of pie in Orlando,
Totally.
and there's a lot of opportunity. As we've talked about, there's just so
Yeah.
many things that one can do here.
Yeah.
That I think people are genuinely happy, like when something really awesome happens for somebody.
Yeah.
So, and what advice could I give to Billy from Delaware?
Yeah.
I think Orlando's a great place to be, whether you want to use it as a stepping stone, like you suggested earlier. If you want to use it as a springboard to other markets, it's a really nice place to do that, because you can get so much on your resume and take that elsewhere. If you really, really want to go to LA, if you really want to go to New York, you can be in a show here. You can get all of this stage time. You can get all of that. That's the other thing.
Exposures.
Yeah.
Exposure, stage time, experience, time in front of a camera that you wouldn't get in another, like,
Totally.
you could go and do all these, like, these Full Sail films. You could do these, like, UCF films, and you get this experience, and you know what it's like to be on set and, you know, and on stage and in front of people. One of my best friends moved up to New York to become a stand-up comedian, and people were just shocked at, like, how easy she was on stage, and it's like, because she's been doing it for 10 years in the theme park.
Love that.
You know, that is not an obstacle that she even has to think about. So, yeah.
Oh, that's
awesome.
beautiful. I love that.
Seriously, thank you. We really appreciate you just taking the time and making
so
this
much.
happen. It's awesome.
you.
If we've learned anything here today, there's so many opportunities, so much talent.
And improv is a really important skill to take with you anywhere.
Man, that is for sure. I mean, we didn't really touch on it, but everything is supported by improv. Your commercials, your theme park stuff, your film work. I mean,
So take a class with John Connon over at SAC.
Yeah, seriously, check out SAC Comedy Lab here in Orlando. We'll link that down in the show notes. And also check out Artsake Studios for
Yes.
acting classes, a really good place.
art-sake.com.
And definitely take classes and check out Play to Luna, the showcase that they do every year that will get you in front of really good people.
Yeah.
So do you want to plug social media or whatever if they want to find you anywhere?
Sure. My Insta is at Created by John Connon. My Twitter is John Connon Acts. And then I also have an actor page on Facebook.
Come on, actor page.
You know, I got an actor page. I'm a public figure.
Come on, girl.
So,
I love it. No,
yeah.
that's awesome. Well, seriously, John, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions for some of our masters in the industry, oh my god,
Oh my God.
you can email us
I'm just
directly. You can, oh my gosh, get out of here. You can email us directly at otowndreamers@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at otowndreamers. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can listen to us there. If you're on iTunes, 5-star us, girl. Give us a good review.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. But seriously, John, thank you. And remember, to all those people out there, we
dream for a living.
Peace.
Time, a dabba-do time.